Please enjoy responsibly.
Get your Dos Hombres with Drizzly.
With protection for your motorcycle, boat, and RV, your Progressive policy works the way it's supposed to. Unlike this indecisive sports talk host.
All right, welcome to the Big Shark Show.
Hey, Big Shark, any predictions for the game tonight?
Well, if you ask me, they are definitely going to win big, but I also think there's a chance they don't win. It's just my gut that they will, or they won't. But I do have a hunch that whatever happens, we will definitely know when it does.
Wait, so...
Either way, they always seem to come up with a big play, or sometimes just a smaller one.
Switch to Progressive today.
Bottom line, they're going to win. Or lose.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
Today's pros need today's tools, and nobody understands that better than the Home Depot. Our app makes it simpler to get supplies ordered and delivered. Our online project calculators cut guesswork and last-second supply runs.
Oh my God, what are they replaying all the time?
When you need it. And Rentop puts the right equipment in your hands, but not your overhead. That's how today's pros get more
What's up,
done.
people?
New
On
tech,
the stream.
new tools.
We're about to get rolling.
Hard work. Home Depot. A doer.
Hockey night at Carlin's.
This is Carlin on 98.7 ESPN.
I smell a rat at the Garden. 800-919-3776. It is not who you might think it is. 800-919 ESPN. Carlin with you for the next 2 hours until the Knicks and the Nuggets later on Twitter at Chris Carlin. By all means, check in on Instagram at that guy Carlin, and also the live stream on video at ESPN New York 98.7's Twitter handle and ESPN New York's Facebook page. So let me get this straight. We're going to fire the general manager and the president of the team. The president, who is one of the most beloved figures in the history of the organization, has been there less than 2 years. And you had to basically beg to get him to come and take the job with the Rangers. But you're going to make the assistant GM, who has been here for 5 and 6 years, both the president and the general manager. I smell a rat. We'll get to that in a second. The way this looks to me, I'm actually not outraged by what has happened. To a degree, I understand it. I don't agree with the idea, but I understand it. Jim Dolan wants playoff games. Jim Dolan likes hockey a lot more just as a fan. Not even likes. He understands hockey a lot more as a fan. And he's frustrated that the Rangers, even though it was very clear that this needed to be a long-term rebuild for this hockey organization, he wanted this to happen a lot sooner. You could make the argument that John Davidson had this going in the right direction a lot quicker than would have been anticipated. And think about everything that was involved this year and how much further along the Rangers were. COVID's no excuse, but you were without Mika Zibanejad for a while because of it. You were without Artemi Panarin because of the whole issue with the Russian government, the whole Tony DeAngelo mess, and then Tom Wilson the other night. So I'm listening to Don, and you're getting a sense about what's going on. I'm listening to Rick DiPietro earlier, and you're getting a sense about what's going on. And basically what happened is Jim Dolan wanted to move on from Jeff Gorton as the GM. John Davidson didn't want to fire him, so it gave Jim Dolan an excuse to fire them both and make Chris Drury the assistant GM, both president and GM of the team. There was no interim involved there either, apparently. Now, maybe that changes. I don't know. But all I can tell you is when something like that happens, it makes me think that Chris Drury is working Jim Dolan behind the scenes, is in his ear about where they are and sees an opportunity and takes advantage of it. Now, I'm not saying that he absolutely stabbed everybody in the back here. I have no knowledge of that. All I'm saying is when I see this kind of a situation, that's what I'm automatically going to suspect. All of the other stuff might be true. Dolan wanted it to be a team that's back in the playoffs. He sees what's going on with the Knicks. He doesn't like the fact that they're not a physical team. He hates the fact that they've gotten smacked around by the Islanders this year. He hates what happened with Tom Wilson the other night. He puts out the statement yesterday on behalf of the organization. He has John Davidson and Jeff Gordon not really sounding like they wanted anything to do with that statement, like they're not backing him up at all, and so he decides to make the change. I get wanting to accelerate the process. I don't think it's the right way to go. You can argue that JD did not necessarily finish the rebuilds in St. Louis and Columbus. True? True. But 2 years? Not even 2 years. He was hired May 17th, 2019. Today's May, Cinco de Mayo. 5th of February, as we all know, with Don. But you get the point. JD, who couldn't be more beloved by fans in this city of this hockey team. It's a legendary figure in this organization. You're firing him before 2 years is even up, and you're giving somebody his job who's never even been a GM before. You're going to make him a president too? You know why else I smell a rat? Because Chris Drury, not all that long ago, turned down the chance to be the GM of the Penguins. And maybe somebody along the way decided, you know what, I don't want to lose Chris Drury. So instead of just assistant GM, I'll make him associate GM. Look, they have done most of the right things with getting young, good players in position. It's not like you can second guess the draft picks, okay? Lafreniere was the pick. Capo Caco was the guy. These were decisions that had to be made the last couple of years that nobody in the hockey world argued with. And it's not like, Lafreniere was coming along. I'm not going to sit here and tell you I'm watching every Rangers game, but it seems pretty clear that was the case. You want to argue that maybe the goaltending hasn't come along? Okay, that's also fair. It hasn't. But I don't understand why now was the time to do it. I admire the fact that JD didn't want to hire or didn't want to fire the GM. But as much as he was standing in that way, he ultimately knew what was going to happen. So now JD's going to go get paid for not doing anything for the next couple of years. And here we are, looking at Chris Drury being the GM. I think looking squarely at Mark Messier being the coach. We'll get to that in a little while. And also looking squarely at the Rangers trying to accelerate the rebuild and spend some more money. This is all stuff that very much is right on the front burner. You're Jim Dolan. In this case, it's your team. You go ahead and you do it. One last part of this, not necessarily in love with. Glenn Sather lurking in the shadows. Another guy who worked Jim Dolan better than most. He and Isaiah Thomas must have amazing conversations in terms of how they were able to garner as much power over the years as they were. Sather got them to a cup final, okay? I always felt that Sather was overrated in what he did here. I thought he got a lot more leeway than he really should have. And because he had that relationship with the owner. And it's clear that's key to your personal success in this situation. So if that's the case, if it's really positioning yourself well and establishing a relationship with the owner, Chris Drury has been doing more than just learning about contracts and hockey. He's been learning how to really do that behind the scenes and paid attention to what Sather did, paid attention to what Isaiah Thomas did, and now he's in this position. So he's the guy. It looks sketchy to me. As far as his role in this, from the outside, no information whatsoever, and I know you believe that. I don't think that Chris Drury's hands are clean because it doesn't feel like it. When you see this play out, it doesn't feel like it. Are you outraged? Are you upset with the firing? Are you okay with the firing? 800-919-3776, 800-919-ESPN. The latest with Aaron Rodgers later in the show and why we need to talk about the New York Giants and Aaron Rodgers a little bit later on. We will also get to the Knickerbockers, who have another big one tonight against the Denver Nuggets in that quest for 40 and the fourth spot as the season is winding down. But right now, it's all about you. You can leave your comments on the video stream as well at Chris Carlin, or rather at ESPN 98.7's Twitter handle and over on the Facebook page of ESPN New York as well. We have some Palace intrigue today. Your chance to weigh in next.
It's Carlin.
And let me just say what nobody else wants to say. What? Your looks have become a problem.
On 98.7 ESPN.
Fresh bread.
Hey.
Fresh. No preservatives. Family baked Calandra's bread. Can't you smell it from their bakery?
Do I have reads, don't I?
Bakery.
Oh, great. Okay. What's up with my people on the stream? Good to see you guys. Dolan listens to people close to him. Well, clearly he listens to people close to him. Stevie B, to be a fly on the wall when James Dolan gets ready to fire a guy. Must be awkward tension. You know, he, for the most part, has stayed out of everything going on with the Rangers for years. And big part of that was obviously Glenn Sather and his trust in him and that relationship. I can't say this is a disastrous move yet if you're going to go and make a lot of moves that maybe they weren't necessarily in favor of if you were John Davidson and trying to accelerate the process. If it turns out that maybe you're going to spend a little bit in free agency or make some deals that might move things along a little bit faster and actually put you in a good situation in terms of combining the younger talent that you have versus what you can bring in. We got a lot of calls.
Hear more from New Jersey doctors.
How you doing tonight, Chris?
I'm good, Jake. How are you?
I've never seen so many hockey calls in my life either.
I've seen them. They come out. They're fired up. They are the diehards.
You have a vision.
You expecting a brawl tonight or not really?
I don't know. I don't know what to make of that. I don't want to get my...
Yankees, Astros, we got the Rangers in a brawl maybe. We got a lot.
I think the only way it happens in Yankees Astros is if Chapman gets in a game that doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, that's true.
I think Chapman will drill Altuve in the hip.
New York sports fans are fired up right now.
Yeah.
Or visit windowrama.com and they'll help you see your project through from start to finish, including installation. Windowrama, let your project be our passion.
Ahoy! Ahoy! Yoo-hoo! Ahoy!
What else we got, guys? You can also check out the Facebook page or the YouTube page, Carlin on ESPN. Go there and subscribe. Get this, you get highlights, you get other stuff as well.
Progressive's boat insurance has you covered. Coming back in 10. $100 a year.
Do we not learn the Knicks are now the
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Annual premium for a basic liability policy not available in all states. Prices vary based on how you buy.
Don't show up, don't come out, don't start caring about me now.
Is that appropriate right now? Maybe. 800-919-3776. The Ranger fans are fired up, so we give you your opportunity right now, and we will start with Rob in Massachusetts up first. Rob, you're on 98.7 ESPN. What's cooking, bud?
Well, Chris, it's good to talk to you. You know me, I'm the biggest Ranger fan. I grew up in Westchester and Portchester going to...
It's been a while, Rob, and I know I don't talk a ton of hockey, but it's been a while. How you doing?
Yeah, it's been a while. I'm good, man. You know, I can't wait to get on stage and play a gig. It's been about 15 months already since I've gotten on that stage, so hopefully soon. But anyway, this is disgusting to me. Look, I have not been a big fan of Jeff Gordon's prior to JD coming, but you know what? He has improved as a general manager with JD. JD's beloved by this organization, and you know what? What does Dolan know about hockey? He sticks his fingers in this. Look, I've been saying throughout the year that the Rangers lack toughness. We know that. They traded Brendan Lemieux away. But this is a team that would be a playoff team in any other division in this league, okay? It's a BS year. It's 56 games. It's a BS schedule, playing the Boston Bruins 8 times, the Islanders 8 times, the Capitals and the Penguins 8 times. You got 4 teams competing for the Stanley Cup.
I mean, the way it's listen, to be upset about not making the playoffs this year, I think is pretty tough in that division, the way it's aligned. That's absurd.
Yeah. Of course it is. And also, too, Mika had COVID. He had 3 goals in 25 games. Just think if he was healthy, he'd have 40 goals. Panarin, yeah, they could use a guy. I tell you a guy they could use next year, Nick Foligno. He's up in Toronto. He's a free agent next year. He gives you leadership, toughness. And the thing is, he played for JD in Columbus. And you know what? The St. Louis Blues don't have JD and Larry Clough. They don't win the Stanley Cup. JD drafted a lot of the guys that were on that team. And he also made the Columbus Blue Jackets into a Stanley Cup contender, or at least a playoff contender every year by hiring Tortorella and then hiring Nicolai and letting him run the organization under his presidency. But it's disgusting. I mean, it makes me sick to my stomach when this team actually has a direction and Dolan says, oh, well, we didn't get in a fight the other night with Tom Wilson. Who cares? Next year, you think JD's smart enough to know that this team lacks below the goal line type players that can get in front and be
the
strong?
JD thing, Rob, the JD thing really bothers me, and thanks for the call. It bothers me more that he wasn't going to allow him to make the decision on Jeff Gordon. I mean, if you want him out and JD doesn't want to fire him, and it's pretty clear that Gorton had put together a nice relationship with JD and had really grown in the job the last couple of years. I think it's unfortunate that you're going to make John Davidson fire that guy, and if he won't, you fire him. That just reeks of an overreaction. This doesn't bother me as much, depending on what the plan is moving forward. Is it now take what we have, get tougher, and try to spend some more money and really take it to the next level and add to what they've done? My problem is look, patience is a 4-letter word for Jim Dolan, okay? But patience is also a 4-letter word for a lot of New York fans. Thing is, Ranger fans were more than content to be patient. They respected what they got a couple of years ago in the letter. Bruce in Flushing, next. Bruce, what do you think?
A few points, if I can. You're right. There is a guy whispering in Dolan's ear. I don't think is the new general manager.
You don't think it's Drury?
I don't think it's Drury.
You think it's Sather?
I think it's Sather.
Yeah.
I mean, I think Sather's saying, look what they did with the Capitals. We couldn't beat the Islanders. We traded away our only grit on the team, and it was an embarrassment to our fans. And this is the team that you guys orchestrated. And it was, like you said, a fan overreaction by Dolan. And Glenn Sather said, That's not how you build a Stanley Cup team. I know. I won 6 cups or whatever that many cups he won. So I think Dolan reacted. I think JD, who was a stand-up guy, said, I'm not going to fire him because I don't think he needs to be fired. And Dolan said, well, I'm the owner, so if you don't want to fire him, you're going too. Now, where do we go from here? I think the coach is definitely going to be fired after the season.
Oh, I don't think there's any question David Quinn's going to be gone.
Right, and I think Messier, and I think Dolan's philosophy is he'll either put Messier in the coach or in the front office. And if he puts Messier in the front office, I think he's a more natural fit as a coach. But if he does put him in the front office, don't be surprised. Maybe 20-30% chance if the Rangers bring back Torts. I'm not saying it's a move I would do, but it's a move Glenn Fraser would whisper.
Well, what's the argument going to be, Bruce? And thanks for the call. When did we get our furthest? When we had Torts. I would also point out it was when you had Henrik Lundqvist, too. I mean, can we at least admit the goaltending's been an issue? It's been an issue. But I think that if you're going to argue that for Torts, to me, Torts is the guy that you bring in when you are on the doorstep, when you feel like that is the difference between you and a cup. It's like Keenan. Torts is that guy because there are so many little sideshows that he creates with his perceived toughness. But at the same time, guys do respond to him when you have an incredibly talented team. I don't think that can be denied. Gino's in Paramus next, 98.7 ESPN. Gino, what's up, baby?
Hey, Chris, thanks for having me again.
You got
All right, so a couple things. I'm just shocked like the rest of everyone in Ranger land right now. And I agree with everything you're saying about JD, obviously. Heart and soul guy, man of the people. Every Ranger fan loves JD. It's pretty shocking. And just for everyone out there, just remember, Sather was around for the letter, right? And JD came in after that, and they have made tremendous strides since then. So I am shocked. I'm not as shocked on Gordon, just like you said. However, I will say I think the thing that I would describe Gordon as he has advanced is as more of an efficient GM. They have made a lot of moves and a lot of scouting where they've really found some gems. I mean, just look at how they have people come right into the lineup. Adam Fox, Lindgren. Now you're seeing it even with Jones in a few games. Keandre Miller when he was ready to go. So I am surprised, but I do agree with the other callers. Speaking about Sather, it feels like he's around.
Yeah, and listen, if that's the case too, Gino, thanks for the call. That's problematic. You're going to let somebody behind the scenes undermine the situation, whether it's Sather, whether Drury's in there. It is. I'm sorry. It's sketchy that you're going to keep the assistant GM, make him the president and the general manager when he's been here just as long as Gorton has, the GM. That's a red flag. That to me says, all right, hang on. Who was working who behind the scenes? And it happens. It happens. Back in the day, Jerry Manuel was working the scenes behind Willie Randolph or behind the scenes on Willie Randolph. And he ended up getting that job. With the Mets, it happens quite a bit. I just don't love the idea that Sather's in there whispering, and I really don't like the idea that when you read a statement from the Rangers and it says, this is not what the fans deserve, what Jim Dolan's saying, this is not what I deserve. It's not what I deserve because he's one of the fans and he's operating the team like he's one of the fans, and it's not an ideal situation. It's not. If you're going to hire somebody like JD and do everything that you did to get him to come here, and then you're not going to let him do his job, that's problematic. John coming in here on the video stream comments over on ESPN New York's Facebook page and 98.7 ESPN's Twitter handle as well. John Piccini, Dolan says the team is underachieved. Dude, what did Sather do in his 14 years as GM? Please. I can't argue with that. The Sather fascination always just befuddled me. Okay? We know what he did in Edmonton. And we know how many times he said over the years what I could do if I had the kind of money that Dolan throws around with the Rangers. How many cups I could win then. You know, the answer was 0. Joe, Jersey, next, 98.7 ESPN. Joe, what do you got?
I really don't like this move whatsoever. I just can't see how it makes any sense. I think JD came here and they did exactly what they said they were going to do. I think they brought in a lot of young talent that was really starting to be pretty exciting to watch outside of the beginning of the season. Mika with COVID, they had injuries. Then they really started to put it together. And I know we're not a tough team, and I get it. Those are pieces that you could add a lot easier than having a bunch of young, talented guys that can score goals and are fun to watch. I don't get it. I think the Rangers fans in general had a good feeling about the direction of the team, and to pull the plug now because I don't know if it's because of this whole Tom Wilson thing, the toughness thing, or what.
I think this put it over the top.
I really don't like it.
No, I think this put it over the top. And thanks for the call, Joe. I don't think there's any doubt about that. You don't like seeing that situation. And then you have the statement that Dolan wanted crafted and put out, which was, hey, that was a tough statement. Basically saying the guy should be fired, George Parros, who, by the way, according to Larry Brooks, is supposed to be at the game tonight, saying they think he should be fired. And then you have, at least speculatively, we hear that behind the scenes, maybe JD and Gorton didn't like the statement and weren't exactly supportive of it. But really the biggest thing was that Dolan wanted to get rid of Gorton, and JD said, no, I'm not firing him. So he fired them both. And ultimately what happened with Wilson and getting your ass kicked by the Islanders a couple of times, it all added up to Dolan's frustration bubbling over today. That's very clear that that's what happened. I'm completely thrown with the notion of taking a massive left turn when it involves firing a legendary figure in the organization and not somebody that has been around 5-6 years and hasn't gotten it done. I mean, that happens. That happens. This is 2 years, and he's had some success as an executive. Has he gotten it over the hump? No. But he's had success as an executive. To me, that's where you really run amok. When you don't let that guy do his job, that's when you're running into problems. And clearly, when you're not on the same page as far as the guys under him and you wipe him out too, I just feel like that is complete and utter frustration and fandom combined, boiling over, and now you're at a bit of a turning point. Carlin, 98.7 ESPN.
Sorry to interrupt.